session at times, John? Are you happy with what happened?
Yeah, it's always awkward this time of the year when you're playing against each other. You both know what you're trying to do, what each other's trying to do, and you try not to go too hard where you hurt each other, but you need to go hard enough to be able to stake your claim for a spot. So that's always a delicate balancing act at this time of the year. But yeah, it's been good to watch some really good signs from some of the younger players we've got in our team, and some of the players that missed a lot of footy last year coming back into the groove. So terrific to see.
Is it Tom there towards the end with a bit of push and shove?
Yeah, I mean that's that's the spirit of the contest. So the boys are out there having a great hit out. So it's this time of the year when we have one more hit out next week, and then we're into the opposition. So we're a month away from playing, and so that's on everyone's mind, which is terrific.
10 seasons or so as a coach of pre-season, what are you noticing out there that I guess reflects what the good stuff that we've seen so much this
Just a couple of things. I mean, the youth that's coming through, it's really exciting from my perspective to sit back and see a number of the players over the last couple of years. This year's draftees looking really sharp, which has been fantastic, and the draftees that we've been able to get over the last couple of years all contributing. And we've got two even teams out there, and they're very close in the contest on the scoreboard, and all of those young fellas seem to be getting a bit of the ball, and that's great. It's terrific to see as a coach, and I'm sure some of the older players are really enjoying it.
It's really easy to get excited about the list that you've got. Obviously a successful club. Can it launch yourself back into the 8 this year, do you think?
Well, we understand we've got we believe some really good young talent in our list, and we've been nurturing and bringing through and trying to develop. But we also know that step into that really competitive finals type football week in, week out is still a step we need to take. And we weren't happy where we finished last year, but we still believe we got some positives out of it. But that next step is a big, significant step we need to make. We're working towards making that a step sooner rather than later, and that's what we're hoping for.
Some of those positives from last year with your young midfielders really growing that nucleus last year. Is that the aim of the game again this year, just to continue to develop that young core?
Yeah, we've exposed a number of players last year, and one of the real positives we got out of the season was the development of that younger group, and particularly through the midfield, and exposing them through that part of the ground more and more. Some players that are just going to give us different looks. Dylan Stevens, Nick Blakey, those guys that are coming through. We've still got Kennedy and Parker and a couple of the more experienced guys there, but there's a whole group under them that we're looking forward to giving opportunities and exposing them against the quality AFL midfields that are out there. Every club's got really quality midfield, and we need to get some depth into that area. We think we've got some depth, but now we need to bring them on and make sure they're playing the right way.
So where do you see Braden Campbell play throughout the season?
We're still working through that. We haven't locked him into one position automatically. He's been playing defence so far, a bit of midfield and a bit of defence, and he's gone quite well today. So he's the way he's been able to learn over the last couple of weeks has been important for a player that's generally played a lot of midfield and run around, and you get into AFL type quality opponents and you need to think of other things, and that's what he's worked his way through over the last few weeks. But he's a very good learner. By the look of him, he's picking it up really well.
I know you haven't announced the leadership group yet, but is there anyone that we should be surprised that might step up for the roles?
We'll probably look to finalise that over the next week or so, and we've been really pleased with those 5 guys that we had in last year's leadership group. Our co-captains have done terrific jobs. There's always the want and need to keep refreshing that group. Last year we added a couple during the course of the hub experience that helped us out. We had a few injuries in our leadership group, so we think we've got some more to add to that, and we'll probably look to finalise that over the next week or two.
The umpires out there today, is that mainly for the mark situation or just across the board?
It's always good to get the umpires up, and we've had a New South Wales umpire here for a bit during the last few weeks, which is terrific. But it's even more important now with the rule changes and the interpretations of those rule changes. And I'm sure the umpires are just like us. They'll go through some experimentation. There'll be some things they get right. There'll be some things they'll get wrong. But it's great to have a couple of really experienced umpires up here today. Brett Roseberry obviously done a lot of footy, so to be able to have him here today and help our players through it, pay a couple of 50-metre penalties. We've got a bit to learn there, and a couple of those. I'm out the SCG here, hopefully in front of a big crowd this year. I'm hoping that we're not giving too many of those away, but we're learning, and now's the time to learn the middle of Feb.
I was about to say that there must be surely some leeway both ways with that rule, because that's going to be very strict, big penalty for something like that.
going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. If you don't get it right, we don't want it to turn into a 50-metre goal fest where it's just 50-metre goal, 50-metre goal. So the players generally over the years have had a wonderful ability to be able to adapt to rule changes, and we're hoping that's the case again this year, because the penalty is significant. For taking one step sideways, a 50-metre penalty, and we know at the SCG, not being a huge ground, that 50-metre penalty, generally wherever it's taken, is a shot at goal. So it's a big penalty.
You've had a bit of bad luck with your tools in Hickey. Have you noticed what he's been to the club so far?
Yeah, he's been good out there. He's got some wonderful experience, been to 4 clubs now, so he's got some great experience across a broad range of clubs, and so he brings all that to the mix. And it's just good to have he and Callum Sinclair competing hard at the ruck contest. A few of our younger boys out there have done quite well as well. So, we understood we needed to strengthen that area of the ground. We were playing players there last year that we didn't want to play in the ruck. We were forced into that, so we needed some more depth in that area.
Number 23, who a lot of people recognise.
Who's that?
Today? Number 23.
Which one? It was a weird number, 23.
How's he going? I mean, it's going to be a question every time you
Yeah.
see the media, but it's great as just general footy fans to see now.
Yeah. Look, he was going really well, doing some good solid training up until 2 weeks ago, and then his calf tightened up, which set him back a bit. He ran yesterday, ran well. He'll run again tomorrow, so he's back on that path, working back to getting back to full fitness. And he's been doing everything right and some, which has been great to see. He loves seeing the young fellas out there today, and one of the comments he made was he can't wait to get amongst them. So hopefully he gets back sooner rather than later.
He's got that milestone of 1,000 goals that I think we all thought he was going to get to, maybe even in 2019. Obviously couldn't get there. Do you think he'll get there? I mean, it seemed like a certainty.
Yeah.
And he'll probably be the last person that does get there.
Yeah. It's a pretty significant thing, isn't it? Like, there's not many players who've ever done it in the history of the game, let alone in the modern game. I'd love him to do it here at the SCG in front of a big crowd. It'd be fantastic. So fingers crossed we get back, but also we give him enough chances if he gets back to be able to do that. And that's a bit about a whole heap of things. It's about our pressure, it's about our contested footy, all those things in our ball movement that we need to improve, and hopefully give him the chance. It'd be wonderful to see.
It's exciting for the fans to see him, just here, but it also looks like he has this real presence around all the players. He just seems to lift their training when he's around.
Yeah, look, he doesn't have to. We'd love him to make a contribution on the ground, obviously, but if he's not, he still makes a really strong contribution everywhere else. He was on the whole hub experience last year, didn't play a game, working hard, enjoying the company of all the players across our playing group, striking really good relationships up with the young fellas, and he gives great guidance, particularly to our forward group. They're really young, not a lot of experience in our forward group, and so he works really closely with them. And what better person to learn off than one of the best goal kickers in the game.
Pre-season comps obviously a bit shorter than it has been in the past. Does it make it harder for him and I suppose all the injured guys to kind of to prove that they're ready for round now?
Well, look, we'll have to wait and see. We've got a pretty good relationship with GWS, so we'll look to them what we can do before that hit out. We've only got the one game against Gold Coast, but we generally everyone's in the same boat, and where Lance sits in that pre-season schedule, you really got a delicate balancing act with players coming back in at this time of the season when most of the list is going forward and playing games. There's not a lot of training time now, and so we need to just manage that. As it's always a challenge with any player coming back this time of the year.
Isaac Keaney looked good out there today. Where's he at in terms of getting back to full fitness in the games?
Yeah, look, he's the last 2 weeks he's been building his game time. He's played the last couple, looked really sharp, really clean. He's just a class act. So hopefully he plays a bit more next week, and then really after that, hopefully he keeps going well and pulling up well. Because if he gets through the way he's been going, he should be up to full match fitness within the next 2 weeks.
Looked like he had a bit of a run around today.
Yeah, he just he got a bit of sun on his back, Josh, today. He had a bit of a sore back last week, so he just said, don't worry about playing this week. He's keep him out off the ground, and it's great for him to be able to just freshen up. He'll be fine next week.
Last one on Buddy, at least from me. Like, what does he actually need to do to show that he's ready to play an AFL game? I suppose, is there any added apprehension, just having the fact that he hasn't played for so long?
The only apprehension is we just need to train him enough to be able to get resilient enough to play. So it's not about just seeing him just jog around and have a kick, and then hopefully things work out well and he gets through a game without getting injured. We need to make sure he's done enough training and enough miles in his legs to be able to feel confident that he can play not only one game but game upon game, and then once he gets back in, playing a significant amount of footy. So, he's working really hard. Our conditioning and medical staff are working hard with him. We need to see some miles on his legs before he plays.
How much do you rely on him to get to the finals?
I mean, he's a brilliant player. I think any team that doesn't have a brilliant player playing would like him playing. I think we're no different to anyone else. But the reality is, over the last 12 months, we haven't had him, and even for a block the year before. So part of the development of our team is working without him and being able to find other ways to kick goals, to be competitive. We've introduced Logan McDonald this year to our team. We're making some changes in our front half because that's what we need to do. If Lance is not there, he's not there, and we need to work our way through it and be competitive. That's still not underlying the fact that he's a gun player and makes a difference whenever he plays.